You have a chapter that's strictly dedicated to race, and you had just mentioned about black conservatives, how they've always been there. Uh, how do you feel about? Do you think that chapter transcends over to Hispanics and other quote unquote minority groups like
Oh,
Asians?
absolutely, it does, and I think you could take out black conservatives, and you can put in Hispanic conservatives, you can put in Asian conservatives, and you can put in key names within those movements, and it would be the exact same thing. You know, fundamentally, faith, family, entrepreneurship, education, self-reliance, those were the things that Booker T. Washington talked about, and I guarantee you those are the exact same things in the Hispanic community, Asian community, what have you. And so I think that if we start talking, and I talk about it later on, we start talking to Americans on principle and on values and not so much on party, I think we will see an incredible amount of agreement across this country.
That said, what do you think of the president's initiative? My brother's keeper.
Well, this is interesting, and this is another thing where, no one has brought this up. In April 2009, President Barack Obama canceled the D.C. school voucher program. He basically said to very deserving black children in one of the worst school districts in the United States of America, the D.C. public school system, that you were not good enough to go have a good education and an opportunity. But yet my children are going to go to Sidwell Friends. The first black attorney general, he has unleashed the Department of Justice against the Louisiana school voucher program. So when the president comes out and he gives these empty rhetorical speeches and these bumper sticker slogans, it doesn't mean anything. I look at his actions. When he's all chummy with Mayor de Blasio up in New York City, who is destroying or trying to, cancel and destroy the charter schools up there. Success Academy, one of the best schools there in Harlem. And when you have single black mothers, they're saying, "Why are you doing this? I want my child to be able to have better than what I was given," and they don't care because it's more important for them to own up to the teachers unions. So just the same as he came out with this promise zones thing for the inner city, all because it was in response to Rand Paul going out and talking about the idea from, now deceased Representative Jack Kemp and Reagan's former economic advisor Art Laffer talking about urban economic empowerment zones. You haven't heard anything else about promise zones. You're not going to hear anything else about my brother's keeper. It's just the way that this president uses the bully pulpit to spew his propaganda to get some attention, and then there's never any follow-up, and furthermore, no one ever questions it.
And also sticking to race, what do you think of, well, how do you feel, I'm pretty sure how you're going to answer this question, how do you feel about being considered, not being considered black enough, or being an Uncle Tom, as you've been called many times, and other of your friends, like Dr. Ben Carson and
Well, sure.
Condoleezza Rice?
Well, look, this is the thing when I look at when blacks are, turning against, someone such as myself, who was born and raised in the inner city of Atlanta, Georgia, same neighborhood as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and you're telling me I'm not black enough, but yet you're, sucking up to the half-white president that's sitting in the White House. I've already won the argument of the issues. I've already won the argument of the solutions. You're just trying to attack me personally and attack my character. But then really, when you look at those individuals, they're the real sellouts. They're selling out their communities. They're turning the inner city into the new economic plantation, and that's what I talk about in the book. When you look at Detroit, you look at Chicago, you look at my neighborhood now in Atlanta, once proud communities, only 72% out of wedlock birth rate in the black community. That's not our history. That's not who we are. But yet they are going to stand with the people that promote those type of policies that are destroying our inner city and destroying the black community. So I've already overcome and beaten those people, and them calling me names, that doesn't bother me. I had a career where I was, shot at and almost blown up.